That's what you do. You buy these films that cost money and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on with a smile on his face.
They just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without it. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first two episodes, the second season.
We are on the site of the castle.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that. Absolutely fascinating. Hey everyone, good morning. It's a sad day really because Diogo's getting buried today, but I'm going up to Anfield with my daughter, granddaughter, and putting something down, paying me the last tribute to apparently a great fella. What's this behind me? Stupid. Yeah. That's not me mad earlier. It's not my hair, it's like the thing behind it. I like that there. All right. Anyway, I've got some good films for you to watch. Really good ones. There's one called Culprit. It's a new one, actually. It's not wokey or anything. And it's about a fella who gets out of jail. He's been in jail for years. But he's always protesting his innocence. He said, I haven't done it. Anyway, he gets let out. They came up with, oh yeah, he didn't do it. But as the film goes on, you're wondering. You're wondering. It's called Culprit. And the Phoenix Project, I think it's called the Phoenix Project. And there's some stars in that. This is a new one. Loads of stars in it. Benicio del Toro, he's the main man. There's Tom Hanks in it, Bryan Cranston, Willem Dafoe. There's loads in it. And I mean loads. And it's a comedy. But there's terrorists in it. There's everything in it. Watch it. I think it's called the Phoenix Project. Well, no, the Phoenix Scheme or something like that. Really good. Yeah, good. Let's see. Yeah, what is it being said? Simon. Hi Frank, congrats to you and Jason. 1K, yeah, thank you. Can't get over that. Looked at it and went, oh. And that's without buying any, because I do know that there is most pods, they actually buy subscribers that are meaningless. There's nothing there. You see what I mean? just to put their algorithm up. I've never done that, ever. It is an honour and a privilege to spend time with you and this community each week. For you, Frank, I want to personally thank you for taking the time. Thank you so much, Simon. I really appreciate it. Really, I really do. I'm not just saying. And he carries on by saying, each night to read out everyone's messages and develop on your own on your podcast a community of love, respect, passion, understanding, and fellowship. Above all else, I am indebted to you, Frank, for every night. Great, thank you. But we've got a great community, honey. There's great girls. There's great girls. There's great fellas. And you know what? I don't know any of these. I don't know any of these. And that's a shame. I know yous, but I don't know you face to face. Taking us on a wonderful educational journey. Your podcasts are the best summed up by the immortal Benjamin Franklin. The Simon and his quotes. Love it. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Quote, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Unquote. That's some honour, that, you know, coming from the great man himself. Franklin. Oh, this is Jason, this. This is Jason, the producer. Very rarely he comes up. Very rarely he's just in the background all the time. And he says, excuse me, do you know what, I'll have to put my glasses on. I'm struggling even reading Simon's. Anyway, he says, this is Jason, a huge thank you to everyone who has helped get us to the 1K mark. It's been a struggle with YouTube, culling subscriptions, as we all know. Most other channels pay for subscribers. I didn't even see this. From dodgy folk. But every single subscription on this channel is genuine. We have never paid for a single one. And I think that is a massive achievement in an age where channels that are utter crap have thousands of subscribers that are obviously bought. And that comes from Jason, one of the most honest people you ever wish to know, honestly. He carries on by saying, as Simon said, this is a community and we're all cogs in that. We're all cogs that make this work. I've never seen so many decent and genuine people all in one place. It's our show. Now they're in caps, our, and it is. That's what I've always tried to. Like as Simon says, you know, you always read out because you're a part of it. You are the show. Every single one. I say on Myra Page. Now, Myra, we go back a long way. And we've got the same ideology, political wise. We see what propaganda is. We see what disinformation is. We see right through the lies. And this is what I try to bring. Whether we're talking about Russia and Ukraine, whether we're talking about this country, Europe, the EU, von der Leyen, Donald J. Trump, Biden, and his horrible machine that's caused what they caused this war. Boris Johnson caused the war that's going on today. People don't realise that. It was those who caused it, not Russia. We're all trying to save these children from Gaza, aren't we? And their parents. We're trying to save them. And everybody, is up in arms against the oppressors and the murderers. Honestly, believe me, people, Myra and I know that Russia did exactly the same to save the Russian-speaking people in Ukraine who were being massacred. And Putin told the West, this has to stop or we will do something. So you see, this is the ideology of Myra and myself. And we try to tell people. And as he says, people are not, I've never seen so many decent and genuine people all in one place. It's our show. I like the way he said that in caps, our. Every single one of us. Thank you. Oh, there's Myra. Oh, Myra. I'll just see what Sam. I would like on this sad day to say thank you, Diogo, for being in our lives and the joy given to us. What we have once enjoyed, we can never lose. All that we love deeply becomes a part of us. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful tribute. Beautiful. Thank you, Simon. Thank you for that wonderful. Do you know when those three beautiful young girls at the Taylor Swift dance thing in Southport last year were killed viciously, brutally, slaughtered by a terrorist? One of the girls' fathers went in a marathon to help, the families. He ran in a marathon, and also in remembrance of the three beautiful little children, little girls. And Diogo Jota heard about them, and he got in touch with that dad. That's what kind of a person he is, or was. Diogo Jota, who sadly gets interred today. And as Myra says, hey, Frank and friends, hey, Myra. Look at that. Beautiful. And Myra says, Frank, what you say is true, that I listen. I only make comments if it is of value adding to the topic at hand. I love that. This is what Jason's saying all the time. This is what I try to say. This is what Simon. You've got Johan, and he's a Manchester United fan, and the rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester United is incredible. But I think after the death of this great compassionate man, Diogo, I think that the rivalry are closed. I really do, because there's been some fantastic comments coming from the ordinary fans of Manchester United, and even the Manchester United pundits. Mark Goldridge and a girl named Alice, don't know her second name. She calls Liverpool for everything, so it does. But they're dead honest. They're very honest. And they were very compassionate with the, their tributes to Diego Jota. Not only to Diogo, but also, obviously, to his family, but to the fans, the Liverpool football fans. And that's the likes of Johan and these other wonderful people. Bella Italia. Hi, Franco. I'm friends. Hope everyone's well. Yes, they're all good. I'm definitely going. Do you know what, Bella? I don't know whether to go to one or two places, Cefalù in Sicily. But I've been looking at a place, and I've always seen this place. I've passed this place. I've even stopped up on it, and that's on the Amalfi Coast, Costa Amalfi. And it's a place called Maiori. And there's another little sister town called Minori. But the likes of Maiori is completely flat. There's hotels right on the front. And I said, shall I go there? Shall I go there? Because right on the front, you've got everything. The beach, It's not that I go on the beach. I won't be able to go on the beach, to be honest. But there are benches. Just sit there. Just sit there. Looking at the world go by. Getting the sun on. Struggling up. I'm walking over to a table and ordering either a tea, coffee, beer. To me, as long as I've got this vitamin D. I don't get it in this country. I looked out the window this morning. Cloud. Cloud. Mine. Thank you for your list of movies that I need a look at. Not honestly. I try look at it. I'm into science fiction and thrillers. There's a cracking one. If you like, I forgot his name. He's just being lighted as well. I don't know why this country gives out knighthoods to people who live in America and the south of France. But anyway, the film's called Mary. That's all. Mary. That's a thriller. It's a bit of a paranormal as well. Well, it is a paranormal, but it's good. And it's about a fella, the ship's, he buys a yacht, him and his little family, they buy a yacht, for like chartering, going out and bringing people out, and like a little charter business. And it's good. If you like that sort of film. Mary, it's called, Myra. Mary. Morning, Frank in chat says Lee the Whiz Kid. Morning, Lee. Morning, my friend. There's Jim. Morning, Frank. On my way out, but I thought I would watch you till I have to go. Oh, not lovely. Thank you, Jill. I've got to say, Myra says, every day is a blessing. Make it count. Make a change. Out there you wish to happen. Yeah. Do you know what? That's lovely. That. As I said, Myra, you know, that might surprise people here, but I say 2 prayers every night. And I bring in people. For everyone, I always say, for all my friends on my pods, so that includes all you out there. Obviously, my family, and a couple of other things as well. And I say my prayers. 2 prayers. I've been saying them since I was a little kid. Little child. Little mad little kid running around. Little boy. Ariel. Morning, Frank. Hope you're well. Watched the Long Good Friday a couple of weeks ago. Almost forgot how good. Brilliant film. Bob Hoskins. Ellen Mirren. Great film. Great actor, Bob Hoskins. I always thought that they'd do a follow-up. You know, well, we all know the end and what happens. But the follow-up could have easily have been a prequel. How this fella started off. Bob Hoskins was cat. Cracking film. But it can never be, And no one can play the Bob Hoskins part. No way. No one can play the Helen Mirren part. The Myra says, congratulations for the 1K. 2K is the target. 2K. I never said that. Lovely Myra. I didn't. That's great, that. Thank you, Myra. See, it's just like people, you get other pods where it says like and share and whatever. And that's all it is. That's all it is, like and share. See me little head up here. It's go funny on there, and you watching. Anyway, Barry says, well said, Simon. Covers everything we all think and feel. Well done on the 1K, Frank. Sorry, Des. If you think I look like Des Lynam, I'd get it, Thomas. I'd get it. Bella yeah, Franco, is it true that what Simon says? It's true what Simon says. It's an honour to come on this chat and with friends and listen to your history, knowledge, knowledge I've heard. I've learned so much. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's like my birthday. all the lovely comments. Thank you so much for that, Bill. Really, really grazie. Edward says, grudge matches good where Stallone and De Niro box. This was a cracker, this. I didn't like the follow-ups. I thought they were a bit daft, to be honest. Going back to Vietnam and all this. But First Blood, the original, where he just goes to town. He's a veteran of Vietnam. I was totally against the Vietnamese War. What would America do with thousands of fucking miles away? Sorry for swearing. In Asia. What would he do in there? And this fella, this John Rambo, he just, well, obviously he's not in the army anymore, and he goes to look up a friend. And when he gets to where the friend is, and unfortunately he died. His mother, he's seen his mother. And he just slinks his head and just goes. And he gets to this town. He hasn't got a car, he hasn't got anything. And there was a nasty sheriff. And there are nasty people in law enforcement in America. Very nasty. I watched them. They're horrible. I seen one fella, he actually got arrested over it. He used to plant drugs in cars. You know, and I want to search your car, and they've got no right to do that. And he used to put drugs in there, and he did it to a woman with her kids in the back. Got collared. Excuse me, I'll have a slip of this. That's the Titanic. I wrote a script for the Titanic, you know. And I showed this fella. This is brilliant, this. Absolutely brilliant. Get it done. Just think of a millionaire or so. Are you kidding me? It was fiction. But it's great when you can write fiction, but in a true environment. Do you see what I mean? So it looks authentic, the story. Really good. I forget where it is. I've got it somewhere. Script. Get it done, it's great. It's like me play, A Reflection of Dickens. When I was putting it on, I had to cast everything. I had the director. And he was playing a part as well in it. And that was a friend of mine. And I was going out on the 28th of June. At the hour, everything was tickets. They were going on sale. It was all booked for that. Then COVID hit. Lockdown. Everything shut. So obviously the show was cancelled. And my mate died. The fella who was directing it and starring it. He died. And as we say, life can be so cruel. Life can be so cruel. And Leader Wizkid says, Alice Abrams. Is that her name? Oh, she's lovely, Alice. She's really lovely. And she gave a great tribute to Diogo Jota. Bella Italia. Oh, Franco, spoil yourself. Go to both. You only live once. Do you know what? That's a great point, you know. I was going to go on a cruise and I was only doing the Med. I was seriously thinking it. And this is in October. And it was stopping off at places in the Med. Places that I love. And even in Sicily, stopping off. So you say it, and I'm not saying that I'm spoiled for choice, but it's just trying to get my head around, you know, where to go. What's the best for me? I'll end up taking my granddaughter and Francine, my daughter, like Sophia's mother. That's lovely, that, Bella. Thank you. Mille grazie. The spirit of LFC fans. Hey, Frank and chat. How's it going? How's the family, friends, and everyone you care about? Oh, not lovely. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Rip, Jota and Andy. Love everyone. Love each other and make every day count. You'll never. Not beautiful, that. Thank you. And as he says, the spirit. Hi, Frank and chat. How are you all? Congrats on the 1K subs. Thank you. You're all awesome, beautiful, fantastic, lovely, friendly, polite, and down to earth people. LFC community. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Good grief. Ah, Mary Myra, change of heart and why. I like that. I like that. So it's Mary. Or is it Myra? It's a conundrum what you've given us. I like that. I like it. And my name? Francesco Domenico Calucci Carlyle. You didn't know that, did you? Calucci. Hi, Frank and chat. You're super smart, hard worker, honest, friendly, polite, respectful, and you guys are great listeners who do the charity work. Pray and look out for each other. You'll never walk alone, says the spirit of LFC fans. Wow. Somebody was on the chat a couple of nights ago and mentioned Capricorn 1. I love that. Yeah, no, I mentioned it myself. I said, yeah, you know, when they were talking about the moon, I'll be doing that. I'll be doing all this. Because I asked them, you know, what would you like me to do, you know, after doing the Elizabeth theory. But I don't think it's a theory, I think it's true. And the spin was, why didn't she marry and have children and whatever? To carry on the line, it was imperative. And the spin was, she married the country. Come on. Come on. There's alliances out there that the royal families married into one another. That's why you've only got to look. You've only got to look before the First World War. And all these countries, they were all related, especially the Russians, the Romanovs. They were related to the Kaiser Wilhelm's family, Germany, and this country. Don't forget, what we were the Battenbergs. I don't think that's the English, is it? Battenberg. What's your name, Jimmy Battenberg? Oh, where does your name originate from? Oh, well, my grandparents were German or Saxon or Prussian. You see what I mean? They're all related. And it was like a big family squabble. Big family squabble. The First World War. Because you had the Franco-Prussian Wars. Well, I'm not going into that now. But, you do get lots and lots of history surrounding the royal families. Remember that poem, London? Some of these won't know, but it was by William Blake, and it's just called London. I wander through each chartered street near where the chartered Thames does flow. And every person I meet, and every man I meet, marks of weakness, marks of woe. And as the poem goes on, now this is William Blake, and it says, as the hapless soldier sighs, sighs, as blood runs down palace walls, and the blackening church appalls. And what he's saying, he brings in the state and the church. What he's saying there, the blackening church appalls us. The church is not innocent in it. Remember when you're at school and they say, well, when I was at school, they said, if you sin, it's a black mark on your soul. Hence the blackening church appalls. So it's not free from sin. That's what he's saying. As blood runs down palace walls, meaning the royal family sends you, they were the establishment that sends you to your death. But the church doesn't. It's like the First World War poem, Anthem for Dunju by Wilfred Owen. The opening lines, very similar to the blackening church appalls. What passing bells for these who die as cattle? Think about it. Even the title anthem for doomed youth. Think about that. Down, slow. What passing bells mean in the church? What passing? Let's just say, what passing bells for these men and the soldiers that die as cattle. It's a slaughterhouse. That's what he said. As the church rings the bells as you're going, but not doing anything. Have a lovely day, Frank. Ta-ra, says Jill. Thanks, Jill. She's gone. Jill's gone. Hi, Frank. It's still Myra. Of course it is, Myra. The sound counts. Myra. Myra. But that's posh to us, you see. Hi, Myra. So we just say Myra. Because we're not posh. And I know you don't mind. I know you don't mind. And Edward says, I had Casino on the other day. De Niro for me is the best actor. I've always said about De Niro and the other fella, Casino. He's great. Do yourself a favor, Edward. Watch a film called, but stream it. Don't watch it on the telly. Advertise it. Watch a thing called The Bag Man. The Bag Man. John Cusack. Cracking film. I like John Cusack. I think he's a great actor. And De Niro. The way he was in the Casino. Goodfellas. Want to see him in this. The Bag Man. Albeit he's not right the way through it, but his presence. Oh. So, hi guys, I'm back. Franco, you and Jason deserve credit for all your hard work. Well, you and Jason, we, in caps, we would have no community. We, in caps again, wouldn't have had the opportunity to get to. That's a cracker. That's lovely, though. Hi, Edward. Say bye. Myra. Myra. Barry. Didn't the royal family's name get changed after the Saxe-Coburg-Windsor flight? Yeah, to Windsor, yeah. They had to. You know, that was the First World War. And remember Lord Mountbatten? That's from Battenberg to Mountbatten. Batten Bay. Mountbatten. Paedophile. You know, people were saying, oh, that dirty IRA blew him up. He blew him up because he was messing around with kids, little Irish kids. Simon. There was a John Rambo. Arthur John Rambo was an artilleryman in the 11th Armored Cavalry in Vietnam. He was mortally wounded by multiple hits from rocket-propelled grenades on November the 26th, 1960. I didn't know that. Thanks, Simon. Nice to know things like that. Right. Frank, please look at big mudslides that killed civilians in 1800s. It's happened here too. Do you know, it wasn't a mudslide. I don't mean what I'm saying here. Mudslides are terrible. They happen. It happens every year, especially in Asia. And, you know, they're very precarious. Look at Switzerland. Was it last month? I forget the name of the place. And it's gone. Just came down. Side of the mountain. Buries a town. And I said at the time, I forget the place, in Switzerland. And I said to myself, you know, it's where everything going on. Everything. And I'm not talking about climate change. I'm talking about wars and whatever. But over the years, atom bombs going off, then hydrogen bombs, you know, these are all experiments. And it doesn't do, you know, you're under the sea, underground, doing these things. Then you had the Russians setting off one of the most lethal bombs, and it wasn't nuclear. It doesn't have to be nuclear. And it's called the Orishnik. The Orishnik. Devastating, that thing. It goes under the ground, spreads out, and just devastating results. Yeah, I'll have a look at some of them. Murder, thank you. Bella, Franco, I love The Godfather. It fires something up inside me about our lives, our lives in Italy. Yeah. I think a part of my family went over to New York as part of them. As I said, a cousin of mine went over and he couldn't speak Italian. And one of our great uncles turned him around and went, "You don't speak the mother language. What are they doing in England? What are they doing in England?" New York, you see. You always learn your mother language, and it should be kept in the family. You see the Chinese, the wonderful Chinese, they do it. You get the Asians and they do it. You know, because their children that go to school and they, you know, growing up, they speak their mother language indoors. And when they come out to play with the little, I did it. My granddad used to put me on the sleeve. And he used to speak to me in Italian. And when someone knocked it, I was a little lad, a little 5-year-old boy. And he used to run out to me, mate. He said, "Coming out?" No, yeah. And he used to run in to my granddad. "Ciao nonno, ciao, ci vediamo," and run out. He died when I was 5. And the Italian language stuff. La lingua d'italiano, fammi. Mio nonno è morte. Still got great memories. My little mate used to just go out and play. Simon says, the conspiracy of Gallipoli and tragedy of soldiers such as James Charles Martin. He was only 14 years and 9 months old when he died from typhoid, youngest Australian soldier to die in World War One. Jason's doing. He was with my ex-partner, and I brought my students over to the World War One graves, and I found 2 headstones. One was 14, and the other was 50. 2 boys. And their fathers, their dads had to sign a piece of paper for them to go to war. They had to. The Ministry of Defence said, you've got to sign these, we're not recruiting these. But only boys, because they were saying that they were 16. And it was the same as Rudyard Kipling. And Rudyard Kipling, his son wanted to go to war with his mates. And he said, he wouldn't let him in because he had bad eyesight. He said, Dad, you can do something. Get me in, please, Dad. I want to be with my friends. I want to take a pop at the Germans before it's over, because everybody thought that the war would be over by Christmas. Lord Earl Grey, he said, Earl Grey, the war will be over by Christmas. And even Kaiser Wilhelm, he said, the war will be over before the leaves fall off the trees. He said, autumn. So everyone wanted a pop at each other. The Germans, young British, whatever, before it'll be all over. So that they can say, oh, it's over there. Excuse me, a stupid cold. I haven't got a cold now. It's always itchy. Anyway, and Rudyard Kipling, his son was killed, obviously. So, because when the whistle went to go over the top, he went over the top. And when the whistle went to go back to his trench, back to the lines, the British lines, he was all muddled up and, with the debris flying around and guns going off and shells and banging everywhere. And he just went forward. Don't forget about his eyes. And he went towards, not the British lines, but the German lines, and he was killed. And Rudyard Kipling wrote a poem, one of the most powerful poems ever written. And it's only 2 lines. 2 lines. If any question why we died, tell them because our fathers lied. Think about that. Barry, Edward, I watched Heat in brackets again last night. Great film. Heat. Pacino. And De Niro. When you see De Niro coming out the bank after they just robbed it, the face of him. Fantastic. Just looking at that. There's a film to watch. 2 films. One is called, it's Nicolas Cage, Red Rock, something Red Rock. And he's mistaken for a hitman. What a film. Cracking film. And he's not a hitman at all, but he gets taken. And there's another film that just reminded me there. Oh, forget it. Might come to me. Oh, Mary. She said, yeah, Barry. Eat is great, she said. I love Pacino and Scarface's Tony Montana, one of the most memorable lines. Say hello to my little friend. Yeah, I remember that. Say hello to my little friend. And he's on the stairs, of the steps. I always tell the truth, even when I lie. Does he write the script like that? I always tell the truth, even when I lie. Well, I lie. Myra says, Edward, you're lucky. I'm between 2 oceans and we get cold air from the South Arctic. You certainly do, but you never got summers, don't you? You have good summers. Myra, a lot of our summer is cloudy. Our summers in South Africa, not hot. Our summers in South Africa are not hot. They are, yeah, they are. I'm telling you. And Edward says, Frank, what made you start a YouTube channel? Can I just say good morning to this wonderful friend of mine? Good morning, Frank and chat. Hope you're all well. I'm in Ibiza at the moment, tuning in. You would be, wouldn't you? Cloudy here. I wanted to go and sit by the bench sheds, but wanted to sit by the bench sheds. Cloudy. But I'm going up to Anfield to pay a little tribute. I'll have to get some, don't know whether to get like them flowers or whatever, or just get a scarf or whatever and put it down as a tribute. But enjoy yourself, Paul. I'm not going to say you deserve it because you're always away. I want to go away. I want to go away. I went to Ibiza. I've only ever been there once in 1986. Ibiza. It was San Antonio, was it? Went. It was mad there. was what I said. Well, where's the culture? Where's the culture here? So I said, they're there, a big bar, and all. That's the culture. Have a great time, Paul. Have a great time, mate. Honestly. As we say, he plays Vito Corleone. Great in Godfather too. I liked all the Godfathers. And Myra's talking to her. In the interior, it snows. I'm on the coast. Weather unpredictable. Wow. Coast. Wow. Look at it. Cold. That's why, when people go, like the likes of Paul Baker, I'm in Ibiza. When you go to places like that, excuse me, you've only got to be, say, like, I mentioned San Antonio, for example. It's the only place I know. So I've only ever been once there, as I said, in '86. Now, if you're in the middle of, having a drink, why am I doing that? But anyway, you'll try to say it's the middle. Right of San Antonio. There's my point. It's hot. And that's why they all go down to the beach, because of the sea and the breeze coming off the sea, because it's cooler on the beach. Well, I didn't have to tell you that. You already know. As with Simon is right, Frank. I think this is the best. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And as it says, why did that sound similar to me? He said, it is. What you were saying about the weather. Because we get the Atlantic, the weather from the Atlantic, and the beast from the east in the winter. I remember one summer, and it was a July, well, it was June, and I was, with someone at the time, and I said, shall we have a barbecue next month? And she said, yeah, okay, you're great. So I told friends. I said, we're having a barbecue. I said, I'll pick the best weekends and we'll have it. July. And we went, oh, great, thanks, Frank. Yeah, well. Every weekend it rained. And I'll never forget this. That Christmas, Christmas that came. I remember saying, it's warmer today. This is Christmas. I was going out Christmas Eve. Always went out on a Christmas Eve. On the daytime. Always got home for the night. And I looked at the weather for it. I said, do you know what? It's warmer today. Never forget this. It's warmer today than it was back in July. Because I remember the temperature. 1 July weekend, don't know what one. And it was 8 degrees, just on 9 degrees. That's our weather. All the Atlantic coming in. But I think it was coming in from the east. Hi, Frank and everyone. My granddad, whom I've never met, was a Calypso. He was under the age as well. He didn't like. I don't like Churchill. Horrible man. That's just me, though. And yet he was voted the greatest of all. Great Britons. John Lennon came seventh in that, as I remember. As with Frank Carlyle and the Exeter go out, there were flowers outside. Yeah, I'm going up there myself with Francine and Sophie this afternoon. I think it'll have to be this afternoon. And as we say, Myra, the nicer weather makes me more grateful. Makes me grateful. But we never. Oh, I should have the lights on here. Because the window where I am is right there. See it shining on me, stupid face here. Simon says, Frank, I didn't know until I researched today that Stallone wrote. Yeah, of course, he wrote it. And he didn't want anyone, and they were saying they were trying to buy it. As you know, I once started it myself. And he did play the great part. Great actor, you know, Stallone. Well, they gave him too many action films. And he wrote the script just in 3 days after witnessing a boxing match between Chuck Wepner and Muhammad Ali. Chuck Wepner. And that was the, he fought some terrible. Ali fought some terrible. Chuck Wepner. He fought some bums as well in this country. I went off boxing. I used to love boxing. And I went off too violent, too many dillies. I came from a boxing family, you know. And I just went off it and never bothered anymore. Because I thought, where are the Joe Fraziers, the Muhammad Alis today? I liked Lennox Lewis. I thought he was great. He was great champion. Never ever liked those, strangely enough, those Ukrainians, Klitschko's. Never liked them, even then. And Myra says, Edward, I think the Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees, not climate change. Yeah, because that's a great point. Because summer, there's the Earth, there's the sun, there's the Earth. Now, in the summer, in the winter, say we're up here, right? And it tilts that way. The Earth tilts. So the sun is further away. And in the summer, I'm doing this. In the summer, coordinate, it tilts again. You see, that's where it's more heat. And in the winter, it tilts again. So you're further away from the sun. So no matter where you are in the hemisphere, that's why you've got the equator and never changes its climate. That's why I like around the Caribbean and that line going right around. Never changes the weather because they're there. It just never changes. But the likes of the north and the south, both hemispheres change. It's about the shallowness from films. Oh, as we say, remembering your mother language is remembering your 100% spot on. Absolutely. But lovely that, Frank. I will. I know you will. Enjoy yourself. That's why you're there. That's why you're there. Snapey. A very somber and referential good morning to one and all. A subliminal acknowledgement of a recent tragedy is permitted. It is. We spoke about it last night. We spoke about it this morning. Snapey was on it. And as someone, as a few of them last night said at the very end of the podcast, thanks for taking our minds off for a couple of hours. Because we've been going through, I was on it there last night for 3 hours. 3 hours. Thank you, says Paul. Paul's a lovely man, you know. I only know nice people. I know some fucking horrors, though. Pricks. I wish I would have been a lot younger. Too old now. I wish. I would have been like De Niro. My 23.53 degrees. Is that the tilt? Is that the tilt? I'd say for mad little place in Siberia. And there's a river there called the Lena, Lena, Lena. Well, that's how you pronounce it, isn't it? I don't know how they pronounce it. But anyway, that freezes. That just goes like that. Heck, and you see cars, you get some cars going over. It's lovely, seeing them. From getting A to B to cross the river. On the ice, not over a bridge, on the ice. Anyway. And the minus is incredible. But it still moves. It still moves. The city still moves. This little town still moves. It's not a city. It's a town. It's a big town. Right on the banks of this Lena, whatever it is. And it still moves. In the winter, you want to see the snow. You want to see the ice. But the summers, like now, cracking the flags, 30 odd degrees. Why am I talking like that? 30 odd degrees, incredible. Edward, Myra, the tilt is responsible for the seasons on air. Yes. Absolutely. And we all great. I laugh at that. Donald Sutherland, C. Simon, in fantastic, brilliant, oddball. That's oddball. Yeah. Great film, that though. Great film. Great Clint, though, isn't he? Clint Eastwood. So always with the negative waves, Moriarty. Always with the negative waves. To a New Yorker like you, a hero is some type of weird sandwich, not some nut who takes on 3 tigers. Not someone who takes on 3 times. That's quite sad. Ali the Noose. Hello. Hiya, Ali. Hiya, mate. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, Ali. And Snapey. The beast from the east or bloke from Stoke. Both have a biting chill. The eastern wind blows a frost while the bloke from Stoke, well, he's just full of wind. Oh, brilliant. That's great. Cheers, Snapey. You're mad. You know that, don't you? You don't need me to tell you. Mark Simon, good morning, Francis. Michael Mast, yeah. I only watched them in the. Have I mentioned? Yeah, they only mentioned this film before, a comedy. And it's called Phoenix. I forget the title. But anyway, it's a brand new film. And it must be his last film. Must be his last film. And it's Phoenix. Forget the title. Useless, I'm losing it. But Benicio del Toro's in it. Great actors. Tom Hanks is in it. Bryan Cranston's in it. Willem Dafoe's in it. Need to say more. Michael Che is in it. And it's a comedy. And it's about terrorists trying to get this Benicio del Toro. Hello, Snapey, says Edward. Myra says to her, it is also about the season change of the sun that causes climate change. Are we bringing the Greta Thunberg in this? Oh, Greta. She got nicked, didn't she, the other day? Oh, I'm not. Went to my nephew's wedding in Malchaney at Lake Garda, stayed in Riva, beautiful. I used to go to Lake Garda just on day trips when I visited, when I stayed for a couple of weeks up in a place called Lido di Eslo. I made that my base, so I went all around. And Lake Garda was one of the places that I always visited. Beautiful, as I said. But every time I went, it rained. Not heavy rain, you know, that drizzle. Every time. Because it's in the mountains, you see. That's why I'd never go to mountains, anywhere resorts, unless you're going skiing or something. Mark, he plays Sonny Blackwell. Who's that? Frank raving in the. That's all I know of the place. San Antonio and Bora Bora, says Edward. Yeah, I was here in that place. Honestly, I was in there. One of my favourite actors there, Simon. Watch him in Point Blank if you can get it. Brilliant. Lee Marvin, despite his tough guy image, has a black belt in karate and trains with Bruce Lee. But rarely showcased his martial arts skills on screen. he's struggling at school with dyslexia. Yeah, yeah, he was. He was a Marine and he got wounded. Tough man. He had that. He had a great distinctive voice to him, and he only had to give that look, didn't he? Point blank. You see him just walking down a corridor, and the footsteps. And another one called The Killers. And he says to one of the victims going on, and he went, "Oh, shut up." Blank. Myra says, Edward, speak Italian, sei una brava persona, non parla da 24 or 24. 24 hours, that is. I bisogno di dormire. Yeah, I'm always in bed as well. Not for 24 hours, though. I'm just glad to wake up in the morning. Myra. Lalo Schifrin, rest in peace, famous Argentine orchestrator for soundtracks of Dirty Harry, Enter the Dragon, Bullet, Kelly's Ale, Cool and Lee. Is he dead? Oh, Lalo. Brilliant, him. Lalo Schifrin. You'd always seen his name up, didn't you? And John Williams. You only got to see that, if you're naming films and there's music, you only got to go 2 notes, and you know exactly what the film is. Love in Las Vegas, isn't it? That's the film. They didn't want Stallone as the actor. Of course they didn't. And he said, no, it's my script. I'm playing the part. I'm playing the part. But you don't get it. So they had to give him the part because it was that good of a film script. Bella felt, Franco, I bet you would like to be De Niro. Yeah. And I wouldn't be on my own, would I now? But Frank, everything is clockwork and the earth, yeah. Good design, of course. We're very lucky. Look, we're just, we're not even a grain of sand in the sky. That's the vastness of space, infinity. Not even a grain of sand. And yet when you come through and you're at the likes of Pluto, you're coming through Jupiter and Venus and Uranus, all these mad planets. And then you come down, then you pass our satellite, the moon, and you see this blue thing. But if you go further away, instead of going that way, I was looking at a program. I was looking at Jupiter. Some size that Jupiter. Anyway, but have a look at some of these planets. Jupiter became a grain of sand compared to others that are out there. A grain of sand. Well, like that's a Jupiter. Oh, stuff, the Earth. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. I love anything like that. I really do. To be honest, many people say, oh, I always wanted to be an archaeologist. And it was me that fault that I did my first year, archaeology. Stupid. But anyway, but there were two things. I didn't want to be a medical doctor. I don't like blood. Looking at these mad bodies. I don't mean a coroner, pathologist. I mean a medical doctor. But just looking at it, do you imagine some people coming out? I don't know what's wrong with me, doctor. I want you to tell me. And I'm just take your clothes off. Fucking terrible, isn't it? Oh, there might be murders going on us. Oh, man. Cheers, everyone. I need to go to. Where's that? See you, Myra. See you during the week, sweetheart? Edward says there's a film called Exception, Frank, about the Kaiser where Hitler sends someone to speak to him because Hitler was worried because he had the power. Yeah. No, you're right. The very thing that makes you rich inevitably makes you poor, says Lee Marvin. That's a quote from Lee Marvin, from Simon. Why do you come by? If you're rich, why are you poor? Because people seem to, and then you get manipulated and used if you've got money. And I know that any of you, don't like that, even if you have money. Myra's go. See you later, Myra. Freedom Jet. Hi, Frank, I'm late. I know. See you, Myra. The coldest place in Russia is Yakutsk. You can't turn your car or it freezes. Yeah. Isn't that the one that's constantly minus 40 odd degrees? I look at a place called Yust-Kut, and Yust-Kut is spelled Y-C-T, Yust-Kut, K-Y-T, Yust-Kut. See that kind there? Try and get it. Google it. Just could. Simon, could you talk sometime about conspiracies about Bruce Lee's tragic death? Famously once said, I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you're not in this world to live up to mine. I understand where you're coming from. And people reckon that he was killed because he was giving all the secrets away of the martial arts. You see, I'll be doing Marilyn Monroe, who for me was more important than Bruce Lee. You may agree, you may not agree. Darryl, goodbye, Jots. Yeah. Well, anyway, as I said about those films, I want you to watch, and they're good. I'm trying to think of this other one, Do you mind if I go and I won't? I'll be a minute. I'll just go and have a look. It's a must watch. It's a cracking film. Bear with me. Deep cover. Deep cover. Red Rock West and the Phoenician scheme. Those three. And if you want a good like boaty one, where a fella goes and buys a yacht, not saying it's a broken down one, but it's an old yacht, and he wants to do these charter things, try and make a business out of it for him and his family. It's good. It's just called Mary. Red Rock West is Nick Cage. It's a smashing film. Smashing film. Deep Cover is one of the Claire Bloom, what's his, forget his name. Well, anyway, that Bloom fella, Claire Bloom's son. He's good in it. That's deep cover. It's good. He plays an actor in it. You know what I mean? Balotelli, belted it down. Hi Franco, got to go now. Another great show. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you. Mille grazie. Belted it down. Cara mia. Cara mia. Bella. Not a grain of sand in the universe. Grain of sand. No. We're like a grain of sand. We're even less than a grain of sand, if you know what I mean. In the vastness of space. Are there other people out there? Are there other forms of life? Yes. Yes. Mark, if you like Michael Marsden, one of his last interviews on the One Bad Movie podcast is a great interview and gives great insight in working with Al Pacino and Johnny Depp, who he didn't rate or like. No, because, well, not being funny about Michael Marsden, I know he's just passed on. But he's not in the same list as the likes of Pacino or Johnny Depp. And that's where jealousy comes in. That's where you get people say, I didn't like you, because they're jealous. But I like Michael Marsden. I only ever seen him in, being honest, I've seen him in a few films, terrible films, because he went from the likes of Quentin Tarantino, you know, Reservoir Dogs, where he was Tarantino. That was his direction. That's it. And he played a great part in it. And another one was Die Another Day, James Bond film, where he plays head of the CIA. And, you know, as he says to M, you'll have to put your house in order, or we'll put it in order for you. That's one of the most truest things ever said. Because they rule us. We're a vassal to America. We're a vassal state to America. But the worst bit of acting, where James Bond's going into the whatever, and he said, I'm not having this. This is not going to be a British thing. This is Michael Marsden, the head of the CIA. And he goes to Wally Berry, who's a CIA agent. Excuse me. And he looks and he goes, "Is that how he does it? And you're going with him." Instead of just saying, "You're going with him." I thought that was a bit over the top. He must have wanted to do it himself. You go with him. That bit of acting. And I even thought there when I first seen her, said he's put that in, he's improvised that. I said, can I leave that in? But, you know, that's Michael Marsden for you. But I do for anyone who dies. His sisters are actors. Virginia Marsden. So I'm good, but not an angel. I do sin, but I'm not the devil. I am just a small girl in a big world trying to find someone to. Looking forward to you discussing Marilyn Monroe. Beautiful lady. Beautiful. Inside and out. She was abused. Do you know what? I've had some, in the past, women, and I've never ever raised a hand to any woman. And I hate people who do. And I hate women being abused. Hate it. And that lady was abused by people in high places. And that's it, to find someone to love. She was very vulnerable. She believed everyone, whatever they said to her. And there's some people who say, oh, I love you, Marilyn. Just, you know what I mean, don't you? By these fellas say, oh, I love you, Marilyn. It's not the time and place to say it. But you know what I mean, don't you? Then they just go, say, Marilyn. No Marsden loved Pacino like a brother, but just says Depp was the most boring actor and apparently not a nice human being in private. So it is what it is. Well, Johnny Depp, Michael Marsden was outspoken. That's why he was demoted to, like TV films. Unfortunately, Mark. I'll do something on Stars. It was tough. It was not tough. It was nice. It was not so nice. Including their ladies, by the way. To me, the greatest actor, a female actor that is, was Betty Davis, or Bette Davis. One of the greatest philosophers, believe it or not, and great interpreters. No, not interpreters, impersonators. Unbelievable. Was, or is, still alive today. And that's Anthony Hopkins. Great philosopher. I go on his words, and you should go on his words. He said, if you like a cake, eat it. Don't let anyone tell you not to eat it. If you want to go in a car and drive it away, a brand new car, and you want to buy it, do it. If you want to go somewhere where you've always wanted to go and you've got the money, go, do it, go there. Don't see. His doctor said to him, "Listen, I don't want you to eat butter." And he said, "Why?" He said, "Well, you know, butter is now. It's like everything else. You're told not to eat, then it becomes debunked." And do you know what he said to his doctor? He said, "Well, what do I put on my crumpets? You must eat crumpets if I can't put butter on." He said, "I still eat butter today." So you see, you know, it's things like that. Don't let anyone stand in your way if you want to do anything. Do it. Thank you for that, Mark. Bob Marsden. Michael Marsden. You might like The Equalizer 3, Frank. It's set in Sicily. I won't watch it. It's woking. Especially Sicily. If you know what I mean. A dodgy joke to enlighten the tone. When asked by the trial judge what it felt like to have £100,000 stashed in a suitcase in his attic, Dodgy replied, "The notes are very light, my lord." You won't believe this, but Dodgy gave me the greatest compliment I've ever had. Ken Dodgy. I'm not telling you what he said, but it was the greatest compliment ever. I went, wow. I was sitting there, and a thing called a good turn. I was sitting because I was about to give a talk. And a part of it, he said, and this good change, I tell you, it was sitting next to, you know, that Vic Astley. "Never gonna give you up." You know, when I was sitting next to him. You know, something like that. And part of it was, I've asked this man to give a talk because these good chains, you know, there was comedians, there was singers, as I said about that, and everybody gave a little chain, you know. Only a few, not loads of them all, because it was always shocking. There was actors, and he said, "You've got to listen to this, man." Then he said what it was. Then the compliment. And he was sitting in the audience, you know, there wasn't an audience, it was all people sitting around at tables because it was a dinner as well. And Ricky Tomlinson shouted, "Hear, hear." And the rounds of applause. And I got up, give it so. I always gave humorous talks. Always. Ken Dodd, unbelievable. Lovely man, by the way. Great historian, you know. He was a fantastic historian. I didn't know. And he tried to catch it. Well, he never tried. He just, that's why he said, "You are good. You are good, you." It was about a place in Liverpool that he thought I'd never get. signing. Thank you, Franco. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being there for each other. Enjoy your day and your weekend. Most of all, make sure you take time for your dearest. Yes, I like that. I like that. Hit the like, boys. It helps the channel, says Ali Danus, our Romanian friend, who's still in Romania now, tuning in. That's how loyal he is. That's how good he is. That's why people respect each other. I mean, just found out where Amy Winehouse's best friend and first cousin, David Sy, is Scouse crooner Frankie Vaughan's son. A small world for I didn't know that. Go away. Where I grew up in Jerry Gardens, just up the road, Islington. That's where Frankie Prawn was born, just off Islington. Gildart Street. Still there today, Gildart Street. I think so. Yeah, it is. I think it's a new Gildart Street now. Frankie Vaughan. And funny enough, he said about Marilyn Monroe. He went over to do a film, and he said she was the most gracious lady I've ever seen and I've ever known, and the most beautiful. Beautiful outside and inside. What more can I say? And on that wonderful note, I'm going to say thank you for joining me this morning. I'm up at, I don't know what time I'm going up, but I'll be up there sometime this afternoon to pay my respects to the Diego yacht. Our Jota boy, Jota the slut. Thanks, people. I'll see you on Monday for the history show. Don't forget, next week, I've got the conspiracy theory, haven't I? And it's the gunpowder plot. Should be good. And on that wonderful note, thank you for joining, keeping me company. And as Mark says, rest in peace, Diego and Andre. Amen to that. Thanks, boys. Thank you, Mark, for that. Putting it up. And I still want you to give Spain back to, no, Gibraltar back to Spain. Take it easy. Have a great weekend, what's left of it. And hopefully I'll see you some of you on Monday night on the history show with the wonderful Anthony Brown and myself. Mille grazie. Ciao. Ciao. Ci vediamo. The lady say, ciao. Ciao.